music as possible to sing on a song that Midge from Ultravox and myself have written called Do They Know It's Christmas? And I went around, phoned up everybody I knew, much to my surprise. They all wanted to do it, so...
It sounds like a nightmare putting it together, Bob.
It was, but, I mean, great fun. I mean, I just thought about 10 days ago, I think, and I have a low boredom threshold. If it had gone on any longer, I would have started getting bored, but if I have a bee in my bonnet about something, I get cracking usually.
And now, to start the 16 hours of Live Aid, would you welcome Status Quo!
Live Aid 1985, the biggest outside broadcast ever.
Well, we've rolled up to 2101 Broadcasting House, and sitting down, working hard but eating a sandwich now, is Jeff Simpson. How you doing, Jeff? Now, you are the Chief Press Officer, BBC Radio 1. What does that actually mean?
Well, I'm sometimes referred to as a Radio 1 spokesman, so occasionally I get in the papers denying stories about the station or whatever. But generally my job is to do with sending out information to the press about forthcoming programmes, whether it's pictures or guests coming up, that kind of information.
You find the press fairly easy to work with, don't you, actually?
I think they give us a fair hearing. It's certainly got better in the last 5 or so years that I've been doing the job. It used to be that they would sometimes give us a hard time, but I think we've matured on the air, and the papers have got a little bit more responsible. And yes, I think we do get a fair showing in the papers.
Do you find that disc jockeys and presenters want to do press stories, want to do publicity? Are they anxious for it?
Yes, but we've moved away from the, shall we say, the pure personality side of the press stuff that they used to do. We tend to keep the press side now more or less to do with what they actually do on the air, what the DJs do for their jobs. So we talk about music, and we talk about the programmes they do, and we talk about the guests they have in. So it's moved away from the pure personality stuff into DJs as music presenters.
Have you ever had to deal with a potential scandal, and if you did have to deal with it, what would you do?
Well, as the intermediary between the two sides, say the press and the disc jockey or whatever, I have to be respected from both sides. So the key to it is to be honest with people. If the press have got a story, you have to admit that, yes, that is the story.
And you won't lie to the press, will you?
No, no. And I won't say no comment either.
Really?
No, I think that's... What's the point of having a spokesman who says no comment?
So if we see a story about Radio 1 and it says no comment, we'll assume you were on holiday. Now, what other jobs do you do within the BBC?
Well, the photographic side is very important, and I organise either general picture calls or taking of special pictures, which we then issue to the press.
Who really hates having their photograph taken?
Mark Goodyear.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
For some reason, he's never happy with the results.
I suppose that you know everything about the disc jockeys, about the people that work here, including their home phone number, what time they get up, what they do during the day when they're not on the air, and all that kind of information.
Not quite everything, Steve, but I think that's probably a good thing. But,
I mean, if you ever got fired, you could write a lovely book, couldn't you?
I'm not planning on getting fired.
Thank you, Jeff. You may remember earlier on we made a jingle, or attempted to make a jingle, with Mikey Woolmans, who is the producer, Audio Workshop here at Radio 1. And I said this, 25 years of 1FM. This is Steve Wright in the afternoon.
And this is how it sounds now.
25 years of 1FM. 1FM. This is Steve Wright in the afternoon. So now you know what producer Audio Workshop actually does. And that's about it. We've just had time for a quick dip into some of the things that occur in Egton House. Maybe I'll come back in 25 years and do some more. If I do, there's one man who's bound to still be here. So we'll end on the thoughts of Chairman Peel.
Well, thank you, Steve. It's nice to work with you again. And when I first came to Radio 1, of course, the Radio 1 building was in a rather chic and architecturally sound building in Bond Street, but we were quickly moved out of there and into Egton House, next to Broadcasting House, which itself is architecturally of great interest, I think. Alas, Egton House isn't, but it has a kind of soul, once you get inside it, I think. And I spend most of my time here, obviously, at the weekend when it's by and large unoccupied. And as far as I know, there are no ghosts here because I've walked around in the dark at sort of 2:15 in the morning, and there's been no evidence of anything supernatural in it. The offices are probably a little small, I would have thought, by contemporary standards. I mean, I've brought people in here from radio stations overseas, and they've always been faintly surprised to have a look at the conditions under which we work. But at the same time, that's not always a bad thing. Good facilities and a big building and wide open spaces don't necessarily make for a good radio station. And the best radio station I worked for when I was in the United States of America was in a wooden building at the end of a long dirt road in the middle of a field full of cows, and spiritually it was spot on. So I don't think there's too much wrong with Egton House.
And thank you very much indeed, Steve Wright and Mr. John Peel. It's just gone 6 o'clock. Let's do it, right? Yes, we've reached the quarter century. I, of course, was never that young. Greetings, music lovers. Of course, our thanks to Johnny Walker and guest Peter Gabriel, not forgetting the Steve Wright extravaganza. Well done, Steve. Johnny's back next Saturday at 3 o'clock. Loose Talk arrives tonight at 8:30, followed by Andy Kershaw at 9, John Peel at 11. In tonight's Saturday Rock Show, we have the Yes Story Part 2 and your own album requests from King Crimson, Status Quo, Iron Maiden and Guns N' Roses. Tonight we have the Yes Story, Part 2 between 6:30 and 7:30, which I hope you'll enjoy, right? And among many encounters, the varied works of Rubicon, Damn Yankees, Motorhead, Mad Cow Disease, Warrant. We have Bebop Deluxe, Bill Nelson, Great White, Saxon, even Choir Boys. So a slice of 82 and a slice of 76, all from Aerosmith.